Nick Fuentes, of course, he's an avowed white supremacist. He said, what kind of a man marries somebody named Usha? Clearly he doesn't value his racial identity, his heritage. I mean, this is racist garbage.
Yes, it is.
But this is also a guy that dined with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago during this campaign. That dinner that Trump had, and of course it was Kanye West, the guy that's praised Hitler, who arranged it all. That was back a year and a half ago, and Trump still hasn't given a full-throated denouncement of this guy who said that terrible stuff, but he said, I mean, he's a white supremacist.
Look, I think President Trump has issued plenty of condemnations on this. The one thing that
the
one thing I like about Donald Trump, John, is that he actually will talk to anybody, but just because you talk to somebody doesn't mean you endorse their views. And look, I mean, Donald Trump spent a lot of quality time with my wife. Every time he sees her, he gives her a hug, tells her she's beautiful, and jokes around with her a little bit. I'm not at all worried.
JD Vance suggested that Donald Trump having dinner with white supremacist Nick Fuentes was okay because Donald Trump hugs Vance's wife and calls her beautiful. I don't know if that tracks, but Vance followed up by saying his wife Usha is tough enough to handle this rhetoric. I'm not worried at all about Donald Trump. I'm worried sometimes about these ridiculous attacks. But again, this is what you sign up for when you come into politics. I wish people would keep it focused on me, but whatever. They're going to say what they're going to say. My wife's tough enough to handle it, and that's a good thing. Trump's campaign, in part built on racial resentment, has put JD Vance in a vice grip in interviews. In an interview with Dana Bash, Vance was asked if he believes Kamala Harris is black after Trump's recent remarks, and a lie, mind you, that Harris is only pretending to be black for political purposes. Here's how Vance responded. Take a look.
Do you believe Kamala Harris is black?
I believe that Kamala Harris is whatever she says she is, but I believe importantly that President Trump is right that she's a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing in front of one audience, she pretends to be something different in front of another audience. Look, Dana, she's not running a political campaign, she's running a movie. She only speaks to voters behind a teleprompter. Everything is scripted. She doesn't have her policy positions out there. She hasn't answered why she wanted to ban fracking, but now she doesn't. She wanted to fund police, but now she doesn't. She wanted to open the border, but now she doesn't. She should have to answer for why she presents a different set of policies to one audience and a different set of policies to another audience. And I think that's what President Trump is getting at. This is a fundamentally fake person. She's different depending on who she's in front of.
With respect, you changed your position on an important thing, which is Donald Trump.
Of course I did.
And so why are you not a chameleon?
Because, Dana, I've explained to the American people what's different. People change their minds when the facts change, they should. But if you want to be the people's vice president or president, you should have to stand before an interviewer and say, this is why I changed my mind.
He didn't really explain himself there, Cenk, but what do you make of him trying to justify this dinner with Nick Fuentes?
Yeah, so Trump gets different standards than everyone else. Imagine if Kamala Harris had dined with two Nazis. That's all anyone would ever talk about. Imagine if Tim Walz had dined with two Nazis. And now I'm saying that they're Nazis because Nick Fuentes and Kanye West have both said how great Adolf Hitler is. Or do you want to split hairs and go, well, technically they're not, they just love Hitler and what he did, but they're not technically Nazis. Okay, we can have that semantic debate, right? Look, I get it. Trump does no apologies. And as a general rule, that's not that wrong strategically. But you have some obligation that if you accidentally dined with Nazis to say, hey, I didn't mean it. I didn't know this son of a bitch was a Nazi. So yeah, of course it's terrible that he said Adolf Hitler is a good guy. Sorry. Okay, don't even add the sorry. Just make it clear. He's never said Fuentes is a bad guy or Kanye West is a bad guy. He's never denounced them. I mean, it would end any other political career. You can't name a person whose career wouldn't be ended by that. Nope, won't apologize. Yeah, good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe next time I'll dine with 10 Nazis. Well, okay, that's what I'm worried about. Exactly. And then they'll say stupid things like, "Oh, that was a long time ago." It was a year and a half ago. It's like he was in his late 70s at the time. It's not like, well, that was like 30 years ago when he was 17. No, we all remember it. It was in Mar-a-Lago. Okay, so you know why he doesn't reject Fuentes, right? I mean, I hope you know this by now. Because he wants to court the Nazi vote. And he's like, well, they're good, very fine people on all sides. So I don't want to lose those voters. Those are good people. Are they? Are they? I wouldn't mind losing those voters at all. But apparently Trump does. Now, on the other hand, when JD Vance is talking about how Kamala Harris is fake and switches her positions, I think there's a lot of truth to that. So is she more fake than a general politician? Probably not. But is she less fake than an average politician? Probably not. She's probably at least as fake as an average politician. And has she changed some of her positions based on the politics of the moment? Definitely. So when it was popular to be tough on crime, she was tough on crime. When it was popular to, help people who were looking to, get out of jail after riots broke out, etc., and during the defund the police movement, yeah, she went in that direction. Was she for Medicare for all in the beginning? No. Then was she for it when it was popular? Yes. Is she for it now? No. So she changes her positions all the time. And Democrats, please don't tell me to lie. Okay, I know if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, but my job is news. These are the facts. And you can see it with your own eyes. She was definitely for Medicare for all. She'll come out at some point, and he's not wrong that she's not doing interviews. She's not. She'll come out and somebody will ask her, "Are you for Medicare for all?" And I guarantee you now, so I'll break your heart ahead of time before she does. She will say no, she's not for Medicare for all. Because right now it's not popular in Washington, and she's going to take tons of drug company money and health insurance money, and so she's going to serve them. Keep it real. Now, on the other hand, is JD Vance a chameleon? Of course he is. He didn't give a good explanation there because he doesn't have a good explanation. Back then, he had graduated from Yale Law School, and he was in the more liberal crowd doing identity politics. I don't mean liberal in a progressive sense. I mean these neoliberals that come out of Yale Law and all those type of schools, and there's good people that come out of there too, but he's not among them. And so all these careerists, and he's like, oh yeah, my identity politics is I'm a poor dumb hillbilly. Or well, I'm not, but my family is. So hey, and then they all gave him credit for that. Oh, well, he comes from dumb hillbillies. Okay, and to me, I felt the whole thing was disgusting. So, but then when he changed to be a conservative who served Peter Thiel, because Peter Thiel, a giant tech billionaire in Northern California, gave him all the money to run his campaigns. And by the way, JD Vance is a venture capitalist. So he then turned around and was like, oh, did I say that Trump is Hitler? No, I mean Trump is the greatest. Why? What changed in that very short period of time? No, the only thing that changed was his career path. So he's like, oh, I will be more rich and famous and powerful if I lie in this direction instead of lying in that direction. JD Vance is scum. He's a very typical greasy corporate politician. He can't wait to rob you of almost all of your money and hand it to his Silicon Valley and Wall Street friends.
Yeah, and again, he didn't even explain himself on his flip-flop. The simplest explanation for that is it benefited him when he wanted to run for Senate. Then all of a sudden it's, I love Trump. Trump's the best because he was courting his endorsement. And I think if you really want to get down to it, Trump meeting with Kanye West and Nick Fuentes for dinner, I don't think he was probably even aware of who Nick Fuentes was. I don't think he would be off-put by him so long as, both of the people he's meeting with likes him, supports him, will publicly advocate for him. Because that is really what motivates Trump, admiration from people. He will like you in return if you like him and to a greater extent, and especially publicly. That's all he really cares about in these types of relationships. That's how he engages in politics. And this isn't to say that he doesn't share those beliefs. I don't think that at all. I think he certainly does. I think you can see that in his policies. You can see that in his statements. You can see that certainly in his background. That's just who he is. But I think the simplest explanation for him meeting with them and not denouncing it is because, hey, they like me. Why would I turn my back on them? Hey, he's never done that. I can't think of a single instance where he has done that when that person still supports him, still remains loyal to him, and still throws their support behind him. So if it's a way into those voters, like you're saying, Cenk, the Nazi voters, sure, I love him back. That's just how he operates.
You're 100% right. And same thing with the Saudis. He's like, why would I not like them? They bought my apartments for $30 to $40 million, so I like them. I don't know, because they dismembered a reporter. They're fundamentalist Muslim radicals who poisoned everything around them and killed endless number of people in Yemen? He's like, yeah, but they were good to me. Same thing with Fuentes. Like, oh, he's a Nazi who loves Adolf Hitler? Yeah, but he's good to me. Yeah, but it matters. No, he just has no morality at all. So it doesn't matter to him. You're a Nazi, you're a Saudi who dismembered someone. What's in it for me? And that's all Donald Trump cares about. And by the way, last thing, if you're considering voting for Donald Trump, you think he's gonna really have your best interest in mind? Or do you think maybe he has his own best interest in mind and he thinks, I'm just using these suckers and losers to get what I want and what's in my best interest? No, I'm sure he's an angel. If you think that, man, there isn't anybody who can't con you. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.